What's up, guys? This is Skateboarders, and this is how to learn how to skateboard for the first time for beginners. Alright, standing on a skateboard, you just want to learn the basics. So you want to learn how to get on the board and how to get off the board. And practicing this on grass or inside on a carpet is the best way to get it down, because it's just muscle memory of your feet, and once you learn how to do it, you don't even need to think about it, you just do it automatically when you start pushing. Alright, so I break learning how to skateboard into 4 parts on how to get used to standing on it. So basically you have your right foot on the right side, left foot on the left side, and step 1 is to take your left foot, if you're regular, if you're goofy, everything's opposite. So you take your left foot, place it up on those 2 bolts right behind the wheels, the front wheels, and then you just put weight onto your front foot, in my case it's my left foot, and slowly pick up your back foot and just place it sideways. Just throw it right there on the tail of the board. And you put a little bit of weight on that back right foot, and then you're standing on the board, and then you're centered and you're standing.
And always remember to bend your knees when you're standing on the skateboard.
And the next step is the step off. So what you want to do is transfer a little bit of weight back up to this front foot, and then just slowly step off, and then just put weight back onto your right foot. And then the last step, which is step 4, is all you have to do is step off. So when you first learn how to skateboard, this is really good to practice these 4 steps. As you keep doing this, it really helps you develop how to push and how to stand on a skateboard. And you always can do this in the grass or in the carpet. I'll do it again. It was 4 steps. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, yeah, then you get used to practicing this over and over again. And after you get used to practicing it, when you're looking down at your feet, I want you to try and look up, because after you do it a couple times, your muscle memory in your feet will automatically know how to do it, and you won't need to look. So just try to keep your head up, pretend like you're riding, and you get on the board. Quick little power tip: once you get your back foot up on the board, you want to have your foot on the back 2 screws right where the tail starts going up, and you want your foot to be perpendicular with the skateboard. And the benefit with that, gives you more control, and it also helps your mind tell you where your foot is, because you can feel the part of the tail going up. Another benefit to when you get your back foot up on the back 2 screws at the beginning of that tail, where you start feeling the tail going up, it gives you more stability, and it helps keep your feet spread apart, because you want to have a wider stance, and that also gives you more stability, and it helps you balance on the skateboard. A lot of times my students will have their feet too close together like this, and that doesn't make any sense, because the board's going to fly forward and they're going to fly on their bums. That's why you got to get back on those back 2 screws, diagonal. And you really want to make a mental note of this when you first start learning how to skateboard, because it gives you the idea to have that wide stance, give you that strong, sturdy stance. So once you get used to getting on and off the skateboard, and you do it without looking, the next step is pivoting your front foot. So you do the first step, get that foot on those front 2 bolts, and as I'm putting weight on this foot, and I'm getting this foot up on the board, I just put a little bit of weight on this foot, and then I pivot on the ball of my foot perpendicular with the skateboard. So both my feet are perpendicular to the skateboard, spread apart, gives you that nice sturdy stance, and you're centered. You want to be like centered, hips in the middle of the center of the board, and your shoulders want to be parallel with the board when you're in your riding stance.
And don't forget to bend the knees.
And then to get back to your pushing stance, you just put a little bit of weight back onto your front foot and you pivot on the ball of your foot and you step off and you pivot as you step off. And that's how to pivot your foot when you skate and when you push. All right, I'm just gonna give you some tips that help you pivot your foot. So once you get your foot on there and you got your back foot close to the tail, you just put a little bit of weight. You put some weight on this back foot, it helps you pivot your front foot. And then also when you take your foot off, you can pivot it before you take it off to get in that pushing stance. And also you want to be on the ball of your foot when you pivot. You don't want to be on your heel, you don't want to be moving all that around. You just want to move on the ball of your foot, which is right here. Right there. And that helps you rotate that foot. Pivoting back and forth from pushing stance to riding stance. Pushing stance to riding stance. Pushing stance to riding stance. And after you get good at this, remember to keep your head up, which will help you learn it. Muscle memory, your feet and your shoulders and your hips will automatically do it. You don't even need to think about it when you start skating. Because then you push, pivot back to the riding stance. You want to push, you pivot back to it. When you get on the skateboard and you actually are in your riding stance, you can like use your hips to go back and forth with the skateboard. You just have to remember whatever way you shift your weight is whatever way you're gonna go. You just gotta stay with the skateboard. If you're shifting your weight left, you gotta go with the board. Because if you lean too far that way, the board's gonna shoot out from under your feet. But this is a good exercise just to get your hips being able to feel standing in that riding stance. And just make sure you're ready for the asphalt or the flat surfaces. Always try in the grass or with skater trainers first. Because once you get on wheels, it's a total different story. That's why shifting your weight is really important. And also learning how to ride switch, which is going backwards from your normal, regular riding, also is really beneficial just when you're able to do this part, standing on the board. So another really important thing is when you're doing the pivot, it's really important to be centered, like a straight line down the skateboard, because it helps you stay balanced and it gives you the ability to do that pivot on the ball of your foot. And as you put weight on this foot, it really helps you
Rotate that foot.
This really helps you be able to pivot this foot to make it perpendicular with the skateboard. And also having a wider stance really gives you more stability when you're just standing on the board, when you move your hips back and forth. The wide stance really gives you that balance. So for all you first timers, slow down as slow as I can do it. You want to put the front foot on the board, right on the front bolts, and just have weight on this leg and just do it nice and slowly. Hover it and pick your back foot up and hover it over the back and just place it on the back bolts. And then you're in your riding position. You want to put weight on your back foot, which helps you pivot this foot. Just like that. And it's really crucial to understand when you're riding a skateboard that you want to have weight on your back foot, so if you hit a rock, you're not going to completely fly forward. So you want to have some weight on your back foot, maybe like 60-40, 60% on your back, 40% on your front, which helps you really jump off the board if you hit a crack or a rock. Then when you want to go back to your pushing stance, you just put weight on your back foot and you pivot on the ball of your front foot nice and slowly, and have you have weight on the back foot that helps you pivot this foot, and then just slowly put weight on your front foot and just take this foot off back into the pushing stance. Knee to the pavement. And the most important thing when you learn how to skateboard is to wear a helmet and elbow pads, wrist guards, knee pads. Another very important part about learning how to skateboard and learning how to push is to find a nice flat spot, just like where I'm at right now. Make sure you guys smash like if you're getting value out of this video. Also comment if you have any questions so far about how to push. And make sure you guys subscribe for more Skate Tutors episodes. We're going to talk about foot positioning for pushing. Take that left foot, put it right up on those front two bolts, and I'm going to actually show you an angle of where to put your foot so you can see it from here. So basically when you are pushing on regular stance, you want to have your foot in this general area is right behind these two front screws right here, or you could have it further back depending on how big your body mass is and how big your board is. Skateboarding is all about adjustments, so whatever works.
Then you want to warm up by doing a couple pushes, having that weight on that front foot, and push with your toes and the ball of your pushing foot. Doing one baby push and just stopping on the same pushing foot really helps develop your pushing technique. Focus on having equal pushes and don't step in front of the other foot.
So basically when you're pushing on a skateboard, you want to have the majority of your weight on your front foot. And I'm regular, so my front foot is my left foot. For goofy, it's opposite, your right foot. So we're going to talk about regular stance. You want to have the majority of your weight on this foot. And you want to take your right foot and just give it a little push. Bring it up on the back bolts. Shift your weight on the back and pivot your front foot. And that's step 1 and 2. And then step 3 is to get off the board, which is, again, put weight on this foot. And it's always important to be on the balls of your feet so you can pivot your feet. Put a little weight on this back foot and you'll be able to pivot your front foot on the ball of your foot. Put weight on this front foot and step off with your right foot. And that's step 3. And step 4, step off with your left foot. Just like we were doing inside the barn. Another really important thing is when you learn how to ride a skateboard and how to push is to be centered. Once you get 1 step, put your foot on the bolts. 2 steps, bring that foot back up on the back tail and bolts and pivot this foot. You want to be centered in the board. Your shoulders want to be parallel with the skateboard. Your hips want to be parallel with the skateboard. Your knees want to be bent and you want to be nice and loose. Arms out for balance. And you use your ankles and your knees like shock absorbers. And always look where you're going. Just be centered down the middle of the skateboard this way. Don't be leaning too far forward or too far back. Also, you don't want to have the 60-40 stance. In case you hit a rock, gravel, stone, whatever, what have you. And then you guys all know the next step to get off is put weight on that back foot. Woohoo! Pivot that front foot. Take that foot off. Step 3. Step 4, step on the left side. It's also important when you're pushing to look where you're going. You want to see where you put your feet, but you also want to look where you're going. You'll get to the point of being able to push so good, you won't even need to look at your feet. You can just look ahead of where you're going. But it's important to look where you're going because you can see cracks, you can see pebbles, sticks, anything, any different kind of terrain that could get in your way. Also, you want to take a mental note as you push and get this back right foot up on the board, right where that tail starts going up. You want to have about 60% of your weight on that tail so you can pivot the front foot. See how I do that? Then I have weight on the back foot. Then I put weight back on that back right foot to pivot the front foot to step off before I hit the crack. Once you get good at pushing, you get good at riding the board, or you can do multiple pushes in a row. I'll show you how to do multiple pushes right here real quick. Step 1, get that foot up on the board. Step 2, is we're going to push with this foot. Instead of bringing it on the board, we're going to give it a 2 little push. 1, 2, then bring out board. Put weight on that back foot pivot your front foot on the ball of that foot. And great, now we come to a nice stop because I did little 2 baby pushes. Next step, you guys all know, is if you want to get off the board, the best way to get off the board is with your pushing foot. For me, it's my right foot since I'm regular. So I'm going to put weight back on that right foot, pivot this foot on the ball of my foot, just like so. Put weight onto that front foot. That's like I'm almost standing 1 foot for a second, and then just step off the board onto that right foot. And then you all know step 4, step off to the left. Off with that left foot on the left side of the board, guys. Also, if you want to check out another one of my videos that goes into more of the pushing multiple times, just click on the screen, guys, up top here on the link, and it's a whole nother video about pushing. And once you learn how to push, maybe now you'll be doing tray flips on the Andy Anderson flight deck. Word! Make sure you guys smash like, subscribe for more videos, comment about skateboarding if you'd like, and also click on the screen for more skate videos, guys. Catch you later on the next episode of Skate Tutors. Peace out!